All right, I'm doing a CD haul today of my CD collection. Um, I have two shelves. Uh, one I have all completely filled. One is about uh, starting to get fill a little bit. In total, I have 55 CDs, so I think that's pretty good. I think so. And I'll try to go in alphabetical order, but I don't know, I can't promise anything. Okay, to start off with, I have The Last Waltz by the band. This is the movie um, directed by Martin Scorsese. Showcases the last like big performance by the band over, you know, so many years on the road. Has a lot of great features like Dr. John, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and of course Bob Dylan, Van Morrison. Yeah, it's a great time capsule of the music at the time, mid 70s, early 60s. Supremely produced, means so much. It's a great celebration of the band's history, and it's one of my favorites. One of my favorite concert films as well. Some highlights I would say are like Caravan by Van Morrison, Helpless by Neil Young, and of course like the classic band songs like Up on Cripple Creek. Just fantastic, fantastic stuff. Ooh. Next I have, what is this? Oh, Sea Change by Beck. Um, it's pretty good. I don't have much to say about it. It was produced by Nigel Godrich, who usually produces Radiohead stuff. Um, and so, yeah, this one's really sad. A lot of very acoustic sounding, but like ethereal too. Um, I recommend it. Beck has a wide range of musical influences and albums for that matter. So, yeah, it's good. Not much to say about that one. Deftones, White Pony. Um, yeah, if you know new metal, what else is there to say about this one? This is a classic. It's just good, you know. Back to School, Digital Bath, Knife Party, good stuff. I just got this recently because I don't even have a Deftones CD yet, but this is my first one. Yeah, I'm excited to listen to it on CD. So, next I have Pink Moon by Nick Drake. This is the sleeve for it, but the actual album artwork is this. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys dog on the back too. He only released two albums or three in his lifetime. He was an acoustic artist. I don't even know how to describe it. Just really good songwriting and very emotionally powerful. Wrote very candidly about depression and whatnot. Great stuff. I mean, this was his last record, so before he killed himself. Oh, rip. But okay, next album from this year, Romance by Fontaines DC. Uh, yeah, I don't. This one's really good too. It's one of my favorite of this year in general. Album artwork is really cool. Um, I mean, it's a very tight album, very Irish, very alternative rock. Fontaines has had like more post punk sounding albums previously, but this one is much more like of a alt rock feel, much more like a of a uh, they incorporate an orchestra throughout the entire record. It's great stuff as well. Um, you know, here's them, brand new cool style they're putting out there. Yeah, it's just great stuff. I mean, what are the? I mean, all these songs are pretty perfect. Starburster, In the Modern World, Death Kink, just good stuff. All right, this is another new one. Franz Ferdinand. Uh, oh, You Could Have It So Much Better. I almost forgot the name of it. You Could Have It So Much Better. This is like a classic. This is their sophomore release. Um, very big, 2005, very big, like garage rock, indie rock of that, of late 2000s, early 2000s. Um, I've never really listened to this one that much. It was always their debut. I've heard more stuff from, and some of their later stuff, but The Fallen, I've heard, and that's a good one. That's one of their big singles from this one. But everything else I can't even place, so I'm excited to, check it out. Next is, oh yeah, Helmet by Betty. Or no, Betty by Helmet. uh, Helmet was a like a hard rock, or like even uh, I don't even know what you call it. Not metal, but like hardcore. Maybe, yeah, a little bit hardcore. Like maybe even new metal, just like of that, like uh the late 90s. This is a great album through and through. Lots of hard-hitting riffs, big sounding instruments, big sounding noise. Uh, yeah, album artwork is fun. Nice little girl. Um, it's just good. I highly recommend Helmet. I this one specifically, their debut. In the meantime is also very good. But I own this one because I got obsessed with listening to this over the past few months, and it's really good. It's just a lot of great songs. Really. Next is what is this? Oh, Honeybee. Oh my gosh, Honeybee. Soft and Less Kind. This is cool. This my friend Ben gave me this one. Uh, it's just an EP. Has 4 songs on it. I think their best one is Everything Is Trashed. It's trash. It's a good one. They're a shoegaze band outside of Pittsburgh, local band from Pittsburgh. This is their first release, I think, of this year. Great stuff. It's, not much to say about it. It's lots of just good shoegaze music, It's really surprising this sounds so good for like a local band. Not to put down local bands, but it's really impressive. Next is Bleach by Nirvana. This is also a new one I just got yesterday. Very cool. Um, I don't have Nevermind. I don't know if I'll get it. I do like Nevermind, but I've been more interested in Bleach recently because I really like the song Love Buzz. I think, is it about a girl on this? I'm not sure. Maybe. It's good. It's Nirvana. Like, what do you want? Dave Grohl's not on it, unfortunately. Well, maybe. Maybe not, unfortunately. He's kind of a bad person now. But next is The Stooges. Very happy I found this. I don't have many punk records, and punk is one of my favorite genres ever. So finding this at, um, my local record store is a huge W. Uh, yeah, I mean, they're just like the fathers of punk, really. This came out when? Uh, oh, I honestly don't know. I think it came out in 1969. I'm pretty sure. But and you listen to it and it's like, I how did they're just insane. I mean, Iggy Pop is crazy. He's a fantastic performer, and this just sounds so heavy and big and cool. Yeah, 1969, I Want to Be Your Dog. Great songs. Oh yeah, and The Strokes debut. Is This It? Fantastic. I mean, probably one of my favorite records of all time. One of the like modern indie music wouldn't be what it is today without the Strokes. I mean, there's so many people that look at them for like inspiration. I mean, every song here is almost pretty much a 10 out of 10. Like they have withstand time. It's so good. And I've it's a short one too. So it's like if you want like a quick listen, it's a surefire way to get your blood pumping and dance to it and just be sad. So all right, next one. Only God Was Above Us by Vampire Weekend. Uh, not expecting, this was also a release from this year that I was not expecting to like this much. I've never really been a fan of Vampire Weekend. I know A-Punk, but that has just been like the A-Punk band for me. But this came out and boy, this is like sweeping orchestral pieces and like one of the most beautiful and energetic piano I've ever heard on any record ever. Every song here is so like arranged beautifully but and approachable, and like the themes on this are so cool. Like they're from New York, and so you can tell by the cover art that they're like, I can just imagine that this is like when I'm listening to it, I imagine I'm like on the New York subway and I see like buildings go by. It's like it's good. It's so good. Mary Boone is a personal favorite. That has a great choir performance on it. Weezer. This is a Blue Album. What's there to say? It's good. I listened to Weezer a lot in high school. Now not so much, but I saw it and I saw the funny funny men, and I thought I had to get it. So it's good. The next, Harvest Moon by Neil Young. I've only heard one song on this, and that's Harvest Moon, the title track, and that's like a beautiful. That song still makes me cry. Which is why I haven't listened to that much, because I'm afraid to cry again. But it's so beautiful, and Neil Young. I always praise Neil Young, but I honestly haven't heard too many songs by him, and I haven't owned any records yet by him, except you'll see Crosby, Stills and Nash. But like this is, I'm very excited to listen to this, just to hear. And this is an older one for him too. This came out in 1990, 91, I think. That was when he was in his revival era. Like he was coming back out. All right, so that's the first, the top shelf. Now we're gonna go into the big ones. Ooh, I think I miscounted. I think I have 56, because I just realized I had this one in here. Okay. All right. First off, ABBA, compilation album by ABBA. Yeah, it's ABBA. It's good, great pop music. They were fantastic. What can you say? It's just they're all good songs. The only downside for this one is that this came out. It looks like 2000, because it's like, I guess the Millennium Collection. And you look at the song list and it's not bad, but it's like there's like a few on here that I wish would have been included. Like I personally like Thank You for the Music a lot, and that's not on here. And like for a compilation album, it's only 11 tracks. I'm like, come on, what are we rationing around here? Come on, give me more. Next is Adele. Adele. I remember I got weird looks from my buddy when I picked this up, because he was like, really? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, because Adele rocks. And Adele, this one specifically, why I got this one, Hello has always been a great song. Obviously that, like, you couldn't escape it in 2016, but my personal favorite was always When We Were Young. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's so good. And then of course when I listen to this in full, I realized like, oh wow, there's like this bonus track, Sweetest Devotion. That's really good. River Leah is good too. Like, Adele cooks, man. Don't hate on Adele just because she's popular, you know? All right, Next, Revolver by the Beatles. Here's another one you could do. Yeah, it's I realize a lot of these are I don't have a lot to say on these other than it's just good. But like Revolver, what in the history of the Beatles, this is like the first one where people were like, oh, so you're like you guys are weird, right? This is when they first took what LSD does to a motherfucker. Um, Great, obviously you've heard every song on this basically. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Here, There, Everywhere. Um, I always liked Dr. Robert. That was always really funny to me. Oh no, Good Day Sunshine, that was it. Uh, because the chorus there is just Good Day Sunshine. That's the only thing I can remember from it, but it's good. It's good. Next, another Beck, Odelay. Um, this is really cool. This is like, I think when Beck started to get really weird and experimental, it's like you alternative rock, indie rock. It has like a weird edge to it. Like Devil's Haircut, that's a hard hitting song with those drums and that bass. Uh, Novocaine is that's a good song. Just the production on this is like so 90s, so like cool and interesting. And yeah, Ramshackle's a great closing track too. That's not talked about enough, I don't think. Um, but yeah, no, this is like my first. This is a good introduction to Beck, I'd say, because this shows like, oh, okay, he's got the quirked up white boy energy. Next, the Chieftains with Van Morrison. Um, this is a cool one. I've always liked Van Morrison, and then I took a class in the spring about like Irish music, and so we talked about the Chieftains and how they like promoted. They play traditional Irish music, and of course, then Van Morrison's Irish, and he joined them. They always collaborated with other artists, and so they have a lot of classic Irish songs on here, like Marie's Wedding and I'll Tell Me Ma, Star of the County Down, Irish Heartbeat, all great stuff. If you want like traditional Irish music, Chieftains, way to go, way to go. Next, Soul Train by John Coltrane. Yeah, jazz record. John Coltrane, fantastic trumpet player. Saxophone. Oops. Saxophone. Tenor saxophone player. Um, yeah, there's 5 tracks on this, but it's jazz. He's one of the greats. I didn't even buy this. I had this in my house already, so I've since then kept it all to myself. Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club. Yeah, another one I would never expect liking so much, but I do. Um, she's a great writer, songwriter. I love her lyrics. Like, if you don't know anything about her, you only probably know All I Want to Do, which is like her big radio hit. And like, that song is a fun, like, it's written great and it's really danceable and like easy to listen to. But then you listen to this and it's just like, there's like a lot of heart wrenching, like 5 minute long songs. And it's like, what? Okay, Sheryl Crow. The Nana song, the lyrics on that are insane because I can't even remember. It was really similar. That song here, number 6, that Nana song. That song is really similar to like, what is it? Um, the Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire, where like she's kind of just like referencing different pop cultural things. Um, but it just works, you know. It just works. All right, next is Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu. This is a great one. If you don't know, this was a supergroup featuring David Crosby, uh, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash, and Neil Young. So all great, like rock, acoustic artists, folk artists, even country artists at that time, 60s and 70s. This came out in 1970. And, only 10 tracks, not very long at all, but just great, great songs. And, like, their harmonies together are, they're to die for. It's, specifically the one, what is it? Oh, Our House, a beautiful song about just wanting to settle down. What more can you want, All right, next. Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. It's Daft Punk. Like it's good. They're the 2013. I mean, even if you don't listen to Daft Punk, you grew up on them. It's like all their songs are so fun and like amazing, and like one of my dreams is just to be in like a nightclub where Daft Punk is playing. Like how cool would that be? Of course, this was their last album, and had the most features on it, with like Julian Casablancas on Instant Crush, and Lose Yourself to Dance, and Get Lucky with Pharrell. Great stuff. And of course, I have to mention the because this isn't the deluxe, but they recently came out with the deluxe, and on the deluxe they added a new song by Julian Casablancas and the Voids, Infinity Repeating, and that's just like a beautiful, beautiful song, and it sounds great, and yeah. Next, Miles Davis, Some Kind of Blue. Yeah, not a lot to say about this. This like obviously this is a classic jazz record. Bill Evans on piano here, Miles Davis trumpet. Oh, and John Coltrane on a saxophone. I forgot about that. It's it's good. It's a classic jazz album. Um, I saw this and I thought, I had to get it. Like, how could I not? Yeah. Next, we got what's the name of this one? Minute by Minute by the Doobie Brothers. Yeah, this one's great too. I haven't listened to this one a while, so I'm kind of a loss for words. I mean, there's a lot of great radio hits on this one, like, Here Love You, What a Fool Believes, Minute by Minute. This is one of the first records I, like, bought with my own money. And I'm happy it's this one, because it's one of those ones that, like, feels like summer. It has the, Michael McDonald on, vocals and piano. It sounds like summer. Next, Brighter Lighter by Nick Drake. So this is the other Nick Drake album I have. This came out right before Pink Moon. And so I've listened to this one several times, and this one's great. I think this is a personal favorite of mine as well. Each song is perfect. So emotionally heart-wrenching. Northern Sky, I think, is my personal favorite because John Cale, who's another musician at the time. I don't think he produced this record, but he played piano on Northern Sky, and it's like one of my favorite piano pieces in period. It's so beautiful. Next, Duke Ellington, Take the A Train. Yeah, this is just a Duke Ellington record, one I just had. Nothing crazy. I don't even think. Did I listen to this? I don't think I listened to this. Oops. That's okay. I'll get to it at some point. Maybe. We'll see. Ooh, Bob Dylan. Ooh. Yeah, Bob Dylan. Blonde on Blonde. This one's great. Um, I don't really know much about Bob Dylan's individual records. I just picked this one because I recognized it and I was like, oh, that looks like that's Bob Dylan. I gotta check it out. And it's great. It's great. I call this one my favorite Bob Dylan record because it's the one I have. But I Want You is a great just love song, and uh, lots of Bob Dylan esque songs on here. You know, I saw the movie A Complete Unknown recently, so uh, Bob Dylan's fresh on my mind. Unfortunately, no. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, so this is Billy Joel's "The Stranger." I don't have a case for it. This wasn't one I bought. This is one I just inherited. Um, and so I just used an empty CD case to contain it. And yeah, of course, this is a classic album. Probably my favorite from Billy Joel. It's a tie between that and 52nd Street, which that's next. I'll talk about that later. But it's good. It's every song I think is perfect. This is one of those 10 out of 10. Oh, it's one of those 10 out of 10 records. I what can you say? What can you say? And with that being said, 52nd Street. Wow. By Billy Joel. This came out right after The Stranger, I think. Of course, lots of big radio hits like Big Shot, My Life, Zanzibar. Good. This one's much more jazzier than The Stranger. And I don't know, some days I prefer the 52nd Street over The Stranger, some days I prefer The Stranger to 52nd Street. I think right now, because I heard Stiletto recently, just on shuffle, and I was thinking back to this, and I was thinking, yeah, it's good. It's really good. Rosalinda's Eyes is a underrated piece of his. Next, Only by the Night by Kings of Leon. Yeah, this is their big record. It has the big radio hits like Sex on Fire, Use Somebody. Um, and then I really got into them recently because they released their latest record this year that I adored, and it's one of my favorite this year as well, but I don't have it. So this is what I could settle for. And it's great too. Um, it's not perfect, but uh, I was pleasantly surprised by the other tracks on this, like Revelry, Cold Desert too, and oh, the opener Closer, and no, the second track Crawl on this. It's really good. It's so like heavy, but like melodic and just like it makes you feel, it gets you feeling a certain way. It gets you feeling a certain way. Oh, right. Halfway there. The Rapture Echoes. This was a crazy find. I would not think, um, places would have this, and like not to say that this is like rare or anything, but it's one of those. It's one of those like records I would never dream of finding in like a record shop or something, but here it is in my hands. This one's great too. The Rapture's like they're like an indie rock post punk band, garage rock of like the early 2000s, like around that same area. But what's so unique about this one is that um, the tracks are they're so danceable, and they're very how should I say it, like very like club and house inspired. Inspired. Uh, they're so like they all transition together as well, which is really cool. And so they're also a band from New York, so similar to like Vampire Weekend, you can just imagine when you're listening to it, you're imagining like you're just like you're like traversing like the back alleys of New York at night, like just coming out of like a dance club or something. And it's just so like bouncy and like but heavy as well and like oh, it's so good. It's good for car rides too. It's a good car ride record. Um, and next, Rush. Love Rush. Rush is a all time favorite of mine as well. This is Moving Pictures. This is their like one of their most famous ones. Probably their most famous ones. Probably their best one too, depending who you ask. Um, yeah, Tom Sawyer, YYZ, Limelight. Fantastic, fantastic songs. I had the chance to buy Exit Stage Left the other day, their live album, but I didn't. Womp womp. That's okay though. You know, I'll get it at some point, but for now, I have Moving Pictures. Next is Boz Scroggs, Silk Degrees. I don't know anyone that knows this. Not that it's obscure or anything, but like who like says like, oh, play the Bog Skaggs, man. Play Boz Skaggs. Like, no, who would get out, you know? Like, um, yeah, Lowdown, What Can I Say, Georgia, Lido Shuffle. It's probably the most that's the only one I heard before listening to this. But you know, it's like yacht rock, early 70s, dad rock, great stuff. I mean, lyrics are fine. Has a great energy to it. It's really funky, and you know, like it's a good yacht rock record. If someone talks about yacht rock in front of me, I'm gonna always recommend this one because it's very fun to listen to. Graceland by Paul Simon. I haven't played this too much. I don't know why. This was kind of an impulse buy because I saw it and I thought like, well, I have to have it. Um, and Paul Simon's good. It's just I don't know. It's 1986. It sounds like it's from 1986. Very 80s kind of. Not too much 80s. Obviously, this is the famous one where Paul Simon pulls from a lot of different uh, influences, specifically, I think, like Africana like music. And it's all good. It's it's great, you know. It's good. I don't know why I don't like put it on as much as I do. I just think it's that type of music I've just never been like too keen on. I've never been a big Paul Simon guy. Whatever. Patti Smith, Horses. This is great. Also produced by John Cale. If you couldn't see a theme already for me, but Patti Smith was one of the, you know, mothers of punk. You can even say. She was doing this in the early 70s, way before like a lot of these other people, and you know, the first track Gloria, her cover of Gloria is fantastic. So energetic. She's a great vocal performer. Um, Redondo Beach, which is like from Gloria, the big rocker as the first track, to then transition to Redondo Beach, which is like a reggae type of song. Like it's so good. Yeah, I listened to this a lot in high school, so that brings up some memories as well. Lou Reed's Ecstasy. I really like Lou Reed. You know, one of the Velvet Underground members and just like a great artist in general. I don't. Obviously you can see the album artwork, and you know he's just like, you know, who's giving the best head kind of thing. uh, but it's good. It's really good. This is from late 80s, early 90s, I think. So this is much later in his career. I didn't know anything when I got this, because I've heard his earlier stuff, but listening to this expanded my like idea of him even more, and then I thought, oh, I can see that. I can see you now. You know, like this is it's rock, um, but lots of like weird grooves and weird riffs. If you know Lou Reed, it's a Lou Reed record, honestly, but pretty heavier. Um, but it's good. You know, I haven't listened to it in a while. I should probably listen to it again. Next is A Decade of Steely Dan. This is a compilation album of Steely Dan's stuff. Um, it's not bad. This is one of the only ones they've like put out. Um, so it has all of their songs on it from. I don't know when this came. Oh wait, now that I think about it, did this come out? Oh no, okay, yeah. So this has all of their albums, all the big singles from their albums on it. Uh, and it's great. You know, I love Steely Dan. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. What's nice about this one is that the first track on here is FM, and and it was it only appears on this record, and it's special because what I think this story was they wrote that song for like a film, but the film didn't use it, and so they were like, okay, we'll just put it on the compilation album. Then I have Countdown to Ecstasy by Steely Dan. Um, this is probably my second favorite Steely Dan record. Um, and honestly underrated because like, you know, if you know Steely Dan, you probably recognize some of the songs like Bodhisattva, Razor Boy. But it's all, you know, short album, but it's like all great songs. Like everyone's a banger, you know. Uh, it's just good. And specifically, you know, uh, they used Jeff Baxter, or the Skunk as they call him, on this, because this was their sophomore record, and this is the first time they used like session musicians. Either that or like it was the last time they used session musicians, because Jeff Baxter appeared on their debut, um, and he has a really unique like guitar tone that he uses, and in fact he was also on he joined the Doobie Brothers a few times, for some records, and when that guitar kicks in, it's just like it's good, really specific, a really specific sound to it that I can't even describe. But like when you hear it, you're like, oh, this is time to crack open the beer, you know. Like, next is the adults are no. This is this is the new Abnormal by the Strokes. I almost forgot what it's called. Uh, yeah, so this is the latest album from the Strokes. So I have their debut and their latest one, and I'm from 2020. And yeah, this is good. Some people were hating on it. I think like purists, you know, were saying like, "Oh, it doesn't sound like the original Strokes," and it's like, yeah, because it shouldn't, you know. The adults are talking, selfless, bad decisions. These are all fantastic songs. Um, really tight record as well, which is what I like about the Strokes. They never like bloat their songs with like filler. Um, yeah, I used to listen to this in high school a lot as well. This is like so good. At the Door deserves special shout out because that song is just like it doesn't have any guitars or drums for that matter, and it's just like it's all synths, which is crazy to me. Okay, next is the Steve Miller Band, just the greatest hits compilation. Um, yeah, this one's fine. I got it because my friend has always talked up the Steve Miller Band, and I'm like, yeah, I'll, you know, and I've heard the Steve Miller Band, obviously. Like, who hasn't heard of Take the Money and Run and, you know, The Joker, right? But I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, it's good. You know, I think I only really like just like, you know, Take the Money and Run and Swingtown and Jet Airliner. You know, I I'm not a big Steve Miller Band guy. Shoot me, I know. Next, Talking Heads, Remain in Light. I mean, this is just This is one of my favorite records of all time. Produced by Brian Eno. 8 tracks, but it like the first 4 tracks of this are so crazy and upbeat and energetic and like so weird and cool, you know? Like the production on it is crazy, the arrangement, like if one of my goals is to get, Stop Making Sense to live, the live film and the live performance by them, but they're all, even on this record, it's like perfect. And then of course the last 4 tracks on this are slower down, much more slower, and really make you reflect on like what you're listening to and like the lyrics and whatnot. And yeah, it's just a classic post-punk kind of record. Next is Painting the Town Brown by Ween. Love that. Love Ween in general. This is a live album. I should have mentioned that. I just checked how long I've been doing this, and wow, that's long. But yeah, Ween, love Ween. Ween is also another one of my favorite bands of all time. They're just so weird and cool and funny. So funny. I mean, if this is the only downside of this one, obviously, it's a live record from like a bunch of shows they've played in the United States and like Europe. Has 2 discs. Second disc has 3 songs on it. One of them is like 10 minutes long. Yeah, like one of their song names is Poop Ship Destroyer. It's amazing. The only downside is that this came out, when did this come out? This came out shortly before the Mollusk, which is, that has Ocean Man on it, that has the Mollusk, that has Waving My Dick in the Wind. So the only downside is that none of those songs are on there. That and Quebec is not on this. But it has their early stuff, which is just as good. It's a lot more grungier and heavier than their later stuff. Next, Lucinda Williams, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. Yeah, this was also a pretty impulsive one. I remember, I think the same day I listened to this record, I listened to it on Spotify, thought it sounded really cool, since I was never a really big fan of like country or blues, country blues music. But then like, I listened to it, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Went to the record store that day and somehow found it, which is crazy. I mean, the opening track on this, Right in Time, is a fantastic song that I think more people should listen to, seeing as there's such like a big burst in like country music recently. And so, yeah, I'll always stan Lucinda Williams there. Next, Frank Zappa, Hot Rats. This was also one of the first ones I got. Yeah, Frank Zappa, what can you say? Crazy, crazy man, crazy instrumentalist, wide range of ideas. Prior to buying this, I've only heard Peaches and Regalia, which is the opening track, which is a great track. Then you go into, Willie the Pimp, and it's like, ooh, so cool, so jazzy, so weird and like cool. I have to get his other stuff, obviously. But yeah, this is really good. This is just a John Williams. I didn't even buy this. I got inherited this. This is a John Williams compilation album of his work from Star Wars to Superman, E.T., and Close Encounters. Which is funny now that I think about it, because it says it's the Star Wars Saga CD, right? But what? Oh, just added to it, you got Superman, E.T., and Close Encounters. And it's like, okay, at that point, just add like his other stuff on it. Like this would be so much cooler too if it had like I don't know, like the Indiana Jones score. Oh, can you imagine? And what else did he do at this time? I can't even think. But yeah, Indiana Jones was like a big one where I'm like, oh, you gotta add that. Okay, so these next few are like orchestra, um, like classical like music ones that I didn't buy. I just inherited them from my parents because they don't listen to CDs anymore. And I listened to only a few of these, but not all of them. So I'm just gonna do like quick fire here. Uh, these are the four tenors, very famous Italian opera singers. So that's Carreras, Domingo, and Pavarotti in concert. Um, yeah, it's good stuff. Trust me. Um, oops. Oh, this one's not even opened. I didn't even. This is a Czech. I honestly don't know. It has a nativity scene on the front, so I assume it's like either Czech Christmas, classical Christmas songs or something of that sort. Um, then, ooh, that's not named, so I don't even know what that is. Um, we got Smetana, My Country. So a lot of like patriotic Czech songs, in concert like that. So a lot of them have like Czech names, like like that. So if you want to read that, Dvorak. I didn't even listen to this, but I'm sure it's good. Yeah, it's over an hour, so gonna be there a while. Oh yeah, so we got, and this one's a Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff. I've heard this one. This one's good. Obviously they're like good stuff. And finally, this is like a box set of the best of the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra. Check that out. So in it you got Smetana. Oh, I can even oh, that's not them. Smetana, Suk, Janček, and Dvorak. All good. All good stuff. I can't tell you anything about these though, but it's good stuff. Alright, so that's my collection. Ever growing, ever changing, tastes ever changing, so yeah, that was so fun. I love music. I love talking about music, so this was cool. Thank you.